Hello, my name is Marco, and today we're going to be talking about interviewing. Yes, I know interviewing isn't the most enjoyable of experiences, sometimes causing nervousness or anxiety, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like picking up a new skill, interviewing takes practice and preparation, and today we're going to be going over some of those tips and tricks that you can use to better prepare yourself and hopefully land that new job. Thank you. Before you even get into their office, it's important to do your homework. Like passing a class, doing well in an interview requires practice and preparation. So let's go over a few things that you need to do before any interview. Number one, research. While this might seem obvious, you would be surprised. Research the role that you have applied for. You've obviously applied for the job, so you must have some semblance of what it's supposed to be doing. But build on that. Use your time and look at some of the LinkedIn profiles of other people who have a similar job. This will not only demonstrate that you're curious about the job, but that you're able to piece together your past experiences and demonstrate to your potential employer why you are a strong candidate. Next, research the company. You don't want to walk into an interview and not know who's interviewing you or what they're doing. And finally, research the industry. Like knowing about a job within an organization, you're also going to want to know where the organization is amongst its peer group. This will help you as you take notes and formulate questions that you're going to be asking your interviewers. And that brings us to number two, questions. Inevitably, in any interview, you're going to be asked, do you have any questions? You don't want to be the interviewee who sat there silently or nodded no. Using what you learned during your research, build a list of questions. These questions can be anything from the company's history to its culture to team dynamics. You want to demonstrate to your potential employer that you're invested in more than just the job, but that you want to make sure that you're the right fit for the company and the company is the right fit for you. And finally, number three, the address. You do not want to be late to an interview. To mitigate the chances of being late to an interview, drive around, find their office, figure out how much time it's going to take you to get there. Remember, don't be a creeper, but show up on time. Now that you've done a little bit of prep and you have an idea of where you're going, who you're going to be meeting with, and what role you're going to be interviewing for, it's important now to think about some of the questions that you may be asked and how you're going to respond to them. This doesn't mean that you have to memorize lines or write a script, but it's important that you're able to choose several points of your past professional experience and demonstrate why you're offer worthy. To aid in this process, use the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. This way, you'll be prepared when interviewers ask you situational or behavioral-based questions. To do this, you'll want to recall several points from school or with a previous employer, where you contributed to the solving of a problem, the meeting of a sharp deadline, or taking charge of a business-critical situation. Before we go any further, it must be stressed that when using the STAR method that you don't scrimp on details or undersell yourself. Your potential employer wants to know if you can contextualize a business problem, devise a solution to solve that problem, implement a real-world action, and what was the eventual outcome. Along the way, it's imperative that you are at the forefront. Your potential employers don't want to hear about what others did to fix a problem, but they want to hear about what your contributions were. Now, let's see an example. Can you give me an example of a team project or effort you were part of during the past year, and how did it go?
Yeah. So, as you know, I just recently graduated college, and as part of my final semester of my marketing minor, I had to take a marketing research class. And in this class, we had to do a semester-long project on a marketing research project. And so kind of what we did is we first had to form a team of 5 other students, and together we assigned roles to everything. So I ended up being the team lead because I was good at organization and keeping a calendar, keeping us on track, good with the communication side of things, and we went through the entire project all semester, broke up, and at the end, as a result, we got an A. So it was a very successful team, and it really taught me the importance of collaboration and finding each other's strengths.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Now the big day is here. You've scouted out where you're going, you've gotten your clothes dry cleaned, and you've even printed off a few extra copies of your resume. But what's next? Depending on the type of job you've applied for, you'll be walking into one of 3 different types of interviews: behavioral, technical, or case study. While we could spend all day going over every permeation of each of the 3 different types of interviews, today we're going to focus on behavioral and the do's and don'ts for that type of interview. First, the do's. Now, you've likely gone over some of this information before as you've prepped for your interview, but it's important to remember: show up early, dress appropriately, know where you're going, and bring extra copies of your resume. Even before you get into the interview, you want to make sure that your prospective employer knows that you take this opportunity seriously. So it's also important to remember that when you greet them, that you do so with a firm handshake, you look them directly in the eye, you speak clearly, sit up straight, and avoid the ahs, ums, and awkward long pauses. Confidence is noticeable, and a wimpy handshake is a tell. Start off your interview right by demonstrating self-confidence. And remember, use the STAR method when you're answering behavioral and situational-based questions. And now, the don'ts. These are almost as important as the do's. So, remember, do not arrive late. Do not dress inappropriately. Do not slouch. Don't eat. Chew gum. Speak negatively of a former employer, or appear physically disinterested in the interview. Hi. Well, I hope you enjoyed our time together and the brief overview on how to prepare for an interview. Despite the nervousness and anxiety an interview can create, it's important to remember that a little preparation and forethought can go a long way in helping you become more confident and prepared to tackle any interview. Thank you.